record this song that we had written for Dee Dee Sharp, who had had the mashed potatoes. Yeah, 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 mashed potatoes.
In the cozy confines of Laurel Canyon's creative sanctuary, there resided a songwriting legend with standards as uncompromising as her melodies were timeless. Carole King, the piano-wielding architect of American popular music.
Watch it now. Now ain't it good to know that you've got a friend?
Wasn't just a groundbreaking artist who transformed personal vulnerability into universal anthems. She was also a woman who quietly nursed some fierce resentments against her fellow musicians. The Brooklyn-born genius behind masterpieces like So Far Away and I Feel the Earth Move was celebrated for her warm demeanor and nurturing creative spirit.
And I want to say, you know, I'm kind of a hermit, and to come out tonight and see all old friends and new.
A spirit that apparently concealed some surprisingly harsh judgments about certain chart-topping acts. Real songwriting comes from lived experience, not from marketing meetings, King allegedly confided to a producer in 1973. Too many artists have lost sight of that fundamental truth. Welcome to another episode of Offstage Tales, where today we're uncovering the surprising dark side of Carole King and the 6 bands who reportedly triggered her legendary disapproval. From whispered criticisms in recording studios to tense encounters at industry gatherings, King's disputes with these groups reveal profound disagreements about artistic sincerity, commercial versus creative priorities, and the responsibility musicians have to their audiences. So settle in with your favorite vintage vinyl, because we're about to reveal the 6 bands that allegedly made America's songwriting sweetheart absolutely furious. These revelations will forever change how you see the gentle queen of singer-songwriter music. 6. Kiss. Opening our countdown at number 6 is a revelation that will absolutely stun you. Kiss. Yes, the face-painted hard rock spectacle masters, with their fire-breathing antics and leather-clad personas, reportedly earned Carole King's profound disgust during the glam rock explosion of the mid-1970s.
For Kiss, I thought they were the coolest opening band, especially back in that era.
In those days.
What year was that?
Working Man.
70,
and all that.
that was Fly By Night tour.
The friction reportedly emerged in 1975 when Kiss was conquering arenas with their outrageous visual presentations and larger-than-life characters. According to Billboard journalist Susan Martinez, King reportedly vented to fellow songwriters at A&M Studios, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, that music is about selling Halloween costumes and pyrotechnics. They've completely forgotten that songs are supposed to touch people's hearts, not just assault their senses with smoke machines. What genuinely appalled King wasn't merely their showmanship, but their entire philosophy toward connecting with audiences. While King was crafting deeply personal ballads about real human emotions and relationships, Kiss was building their empire on what King reportedly called carnival barker rock, performances that in King's artistic vision replaced genuine emotional connection with cheap theatrical tricks. Music should be a conversation between souls, not a magic show for teenagers, King allegedly told Rolling Stone in an unpublished 1976 interview. When you hide behind masks and costumes, you're telling your audience that the real you isn't worth knowing. The tension allegedly reached its peak during a Sunset Strip recording session, where witnesses claim King refused to enter the studio until Kiss finished their photo shoot, reportedly telling her manager, "I won't work in the same space where people are treating music like a costume party for overgrown children." 5. Boston. Sliding into number 5 is a feud that exposed the battle between organic creativity and manufactured perfection. Boston, the Massachusetts-based arena rock powerhouse with their meticulously crafted studio sound and polished production values, reportedly became one of Carole King's biggest musical frustrations during the late 1970s corporate rock boom.
Because it is so timeless.
I think it's mostly Tom. For the person that just has a desk job, 9 to 5, and dreams.
The conflict allegedly developed after Boston's debut album dominated radio airwaves in 1976 with their layered guitar harmonies and precision-engineered arrangements. According to Music Week editor Patricia Goldman, King reportedly complained to industry colleagues at a Nashville songwriters retreat. Tom Scholz and his band think every note needs to be digitally perfected and focus group tested. They've turned music creation into a laboratory experiment instead of an emotional expression. The harsh criticism allegedly spread through songwriter circles faster than a hit single climbing the charts. What really bothered King wasn't just their technical approach, but their detachment from spontaneous musical moments. While King had built her reputation on capturing raw emotional truths through intimate piano compositions, Boston was achieving massive success with what King reportedly called sterile perfection, studio creations that, in King's heartfelt philosophy, sacrificed human warmth for commercial appeal. Songs should sound like they came from someone's living room, not from a computer program, King allegedly told a Cashbox interviewer in 1977, obviously targeting Boston's production methods. Music loses its magic when it becomes too calculated and polished. The situation allegedly escalated during a record label showcase where witnesses claim King walked out halfway through Boston's performance, reportedly whispering to her companion, "I can't listen to music that sounds like it was assembled by robots instead of felt by human beings." 4. Foreigner. Charging into number 4 is perhaps the most commercially motivated clash on our list. Foreigner, the Anglo-American rock juggernaut with their radio-ready hooks and arena-sized choruses, reportedly pushed Carole King to her creative breaking point with their calculated approach to hit-making and formulaic songwriting strategies.
And other songs had different splits. And I wrote 60 for Mick, 40 for me.
The hostility allegedly surfaced in the late 1970s when Foreigner was dominating FM radio with their precision-crafted rock anthems and market-tested appeal. According to Songwriter magazine contributor David Chen, King reportedly expressed frustration to fellow composers at a Beverly Hills publishing meeting. Mick Jones and Lou Gramm think every song needs to check boxes on some corporate checklist. They've reduced music to demographic targeting instead of genuine human communication. The biting assessment allegedly circulated through music industry boardrooms within hours. What truly infuriated King wasn't just their commercial success, but their seemingly cynical attitude toward audience connection. While King was dedicated to exploring authentic personal experiences through vulnerable songcraft, Foreigner was building their legacy with what King reportedly called demographic manipulation, carefully constructed anthems that, in King's sincere worldview, prioritized market research over meaningful artistic expression. Songwriting should be about sharing your truth, not about manufacturing emotions for profit margins, King allegedly told a Music Connection reporter in 1978, clearly referencing Foreigner's approach without naming them directly. But everyone in the publishing world immediately understood her target. Third Styx crashing into number 3 is a rivalry that divided the music world between storytelling and spectacle. Styx, the Chicago-based rock opera pioneers with their elaborate concept albums and theatrical ambitions, reportedly became Carole King's most despised example of misguided artistic pretension during the progressive rock era. The animosity allegedly originated in the mid-1970s when Styx was gaining attention for their ambitious rock musicals and Dennis DeYoung's operatic vocals. According to Circus Magazine writer Janet Rodriguez, King reportedly criticized the band to fellow artists at a Brill Building gathering. Tommy Shaw and Dennis think every album needs a plot and costume changes. They've confused rock concerts with dinner theater productions for people who want to feel intellectual about their entertainment. Please believe that it's true. The scathing remarks allegedly spread through New York's songwriting community like wildfire. What made this feud particularly bitter was their competing approaches to narrative songwriting. While King specialized in intimate personal stories that resonated with universal human experiences, Styx was achieving success with what King reportedly called Broadway reject material. Elaborate rock operas that, in King's grounded perspective, sacrificed emotional honesty for grandiose storytelling gimmicks. The conflict allegedly peaked during a Chicago music festival where witnesses claim King declined to appear on the same bill as Styx, reportedly telling festival organizers, "I won't share a stage with people who think rock music needs intermissions and program notes like some pretentious opera nobody asked for." 2. Kansas burning into number 2 is the most philosophically explosive revelation on our list. Kansas, the progressive rock intellectuals themselves, allegedly became the target of Carole King's deepest artistic frustration and creative bewilderment, despite their shared reputation for incorporating meaningful themes into popular music.
A lot of time thinking about what key are we in, and I actually would write a song and then I would say, you know what, the verse is great, but this chorus is going to be too low.
The tension reportedly began in the mid-1970s when Kansas exploded onto the scene with Kerry Livgren's complex compositions and their existential lyrics about dust in the wind and wayward sons. According to rock scene journalist Michael Thompson, King reportedly told close friends at a Malibu dinner party, "Kerry and Steve think every song needs to solve the mysteries of the universe. They've confused being profound with being incomprehensible. And honestly, it's pretentious nonsense disguised as wisdom." The bitter comment allegedly revealed King's growing irritation with prog rock's philosophical pretensions. What truly frustrated King was Kansas's critical acclaim and their approach to meaningful songwriting. While King had been crafting relatable songs about love, loss, and personal growth, Kansas was achieving legendary status with what King reportedly called pseudo-intellectual rambling. Compositions that, in King's view, prioritized sounding deep over actually connecting with people's real experiences. The rivalry reportedly turned personal when both acts were praised for their thoughtful approach to lyrics. Industry insiders claim King became increasingly annoyed that Kansas was being hailed as meaningful, while her straightforward emotional honesty was dismissed as simple, allegedly telling confidants, "They're trying to turn rock music into a college philosophy course while forgetting that real insight comes from lived experience." 1. Heart taking the top spot in our countdown is the ultimate feminist rock betrayal that sent shockwaves through the entire music community.
Think of us.
Yeah.
Because rock and roll was really the province of men, it always was.
Heart, the Wilson sisters themselves, allegedly became Carole King's most despised musical act through a combination of what King saw as gender betrayal, aggressive posturing, and shameless abandonment of feminine authenticity in rock music. The feud's roots allegedly trace back to the mid-1970s when both King and Hart were representing women in rock through completely different approaches. According to Ms. Magazine music critic Linda Foster, King reportedly told fellow female songwriters at a women's music conference, "Anne and Nancy think being a woman in rock means copying all the worst masculine behaviors. They've forgotten that our strength comes from our unique perspective, not from screaming louder than the boys." The devastating assessment allegedly spread through feminist music circles within days. The breaking point reportedly came when Hart achieved massive commercial success, while King struggled to maintain her relevance in the changing rock landscape. Sources claim King felt personally betrayed by their approach, allegedly telling confidants, "They built their career on abandoning everything that makes women's voices special in music. Instead of showing that women can rock differently, they just proved we can be just as obnoxious as men." The animosity reached nuclear levels during the late 1970s when both acts were touring extensively. Industry veterans claim King became obsessed with exposing what she saw as Hart's feminist hypocrisy, allegedly saying at a private songwriters' retreat, "The difference between Hart and real women's music is that I write about being a woman. They just write about being rock stars who happen to be women." The final straw reportedly came during a 1979 backstage encounter where witnesses claim Nancy Wilson dismissed King's music as outdated folk rock, prompting King to allegedly declare Hart the biggest disappointment in women's music history. And there you have it, the 6 bands who reportedly made Carole King lose her composure. Which feud surprised you most? Share your reactions in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more shocking music industry revelations.